Denny Van here with Heartfelt Awakening Radio. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I help you accelerate your personal, professional, and spiritual growth. And today I wanted to talk about the topic of who's in the driver's seat right now. And I'll tell you why. Lately, I've been getting a lot of people wanting to quit smoking or some kind of habit. So they get on a call with me and to see, because I offer a free call to see if my services are right for you. We get on a call to see what your goals are, what changes you want to make, and if our program is a right fit for them. So once we get on that call, it's very, very clear what the next step is. It's either no, this is not for me, or yes, I need to make that first step. And many times with quitting smoking, we do about 3 or 4 sessions. Usually the quitting smoking happens within the first session, and then we'll do follow-up visits to work on other things, because smoking isn't just about smoking for a lot of people. It's usually a replacement for some kind of stress reliever or a distraction, or using it as an escape rather than dealing with their issues. So for most people, we tend to do the quit smoking part in the one session. And what I've been finding a lot lately is people will be adamant, yes, I'm ready to quit smoking right now, 1000%. Let's make the appointment. Let's do it. They pay for it, and then they show up for their first session. The person who shows up for the session is not the person who made the appointment and was eager to quit. So in the work that I do, we go through and we figure out your ego states, and everybody has these archetypes or ego states within us. And there's a lot of science and research and blah, 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 but from a spiritual perspective, these are seen as parts. Ego states are parts, and usually these parts are within the unconscious. And so some of these ego states, we can compare them to archetypes. These are personalities within us who have a certain function, and we find archetypes everywhere. I love to look at the Bible, the whole Bible, as an archetype, because every personality within the Bible has a possibility of being within me. And so when I come from that perspective, I realize the person that just showed up to quit smoking and to start the session is not the one who wants to quit smoking. As a matter of fact, this is the one who wants to sabotage, to later say, see, the hypnosis didn't work. And so what I do is I make sure that the person in front of me is the person, the ego state, that is in charge and is able to make these decisions, because some of these parts within, they may be wounded parts, they may be suppressed emotions, they may be suppressed trauma, and sometimes these parts will wake up with an intention of protecting you, keeping you from going in that direction because something comes up, there's uncomfortableness that comes up. And so we take a look at all of these things. And part of the work I do, even before we get to the point of quitting smoking, is integrating a lot of these parts. And we do this in such a way where we first set up your healing team. Now, I come from the perspective that there is absolutely nothing outside of you that you need. And I show you how to set up your own healing team. And it consists of 3 parts. What you're focused on, your focus, awareness, and attention. And when somebody shows up into my office saying that they're ready to quit smoking, yet their focus is on something else, we have to get them back. We have to get the person who is there to quit smoking and is ready to do what's best for themselves. We have to have that ego state in the control chair. And so sometimes people will show up and it's something else that is showing up for a quit smoking session. And I recognize this right away, because I recognize there's only one who is able to sit in the command center, in the control chair. And so this is what we call the executive ego state. This is the one who wants what's best for you and is there to protect you and make sure that nothing is going to hurt you. And it knows that smoking might in fact be something that is hurting you. So of course, the executive ego state is the one who made the appointment. However, there's other personalities within that show up. And some of us know these personality types. You know your inner self-sabotager. You know your inner forgetfulness. You know the inner one who loves the habit and says, it's not that bad. You know, maybe just one more cigarette. So these are parts within us that I begin to recognize who are the ones that are aware of each other and what parts are not aware of each other. And so as we go through, we incorporate these techniques of clearing out some of these parts and integrating them, because each part must be integrated willingly in the work that we do. And we do this work on multidimensional levels. So as these parts wake up, first we got to get the executive in the command chair. And then we have the executive take a look at how much pain smoking is causing in their life. And so let's say it's an 8 on the pain scale of 10 being the worst. And we're looking at that 8. We're taking a look at that 8. It costs a lot of money. It's costing more in my health. I don't smell good. I don't feel good. Smoking's not a thing anymore. I really want control back. So we get into the why. Why is it? Now, if somebody comes to me and says, my wife wants me to quit, my husband wants me to quit, my boyfriend wants me to quit, my girlfriend wants me to quit, and that's their driving reason, we will hold off on the session, because you must come from the point of self. Then you're ready. When you are ready to make this change, this shift, because cigarettes in themselves are only addictive when we're using it in such a way to escape, to use as a reason rather than looking at what's happening. For a lot of people, this is true. And so as we begin to understand how your healing team works, the first part is your focus, awareness, and attention. The second are these parts that wake up in the unconscious. And these parts that wake up will influence us. Just have one more cigarette. It's not going to do anything. Just have this one and then we'll quit. Look at how stressful you are. Just one cigarette will really help. So all of these thoughts waking up, you realize these thoughts are not you, first of all. These thoughts are parts that wake up. Their routine. It's like, hey, you're breaking our routine. We're supposed to be having a cigarette now, right? Or their old thoughts, beliefs, patterns, behaviors. These are parts that wake up within the unconscious and then bleed into our right now, into how you're seeing your world. It muddies up your lens to have you only look for that thing, cigarette, whatever habit it is that you're wanting to quit. So you're looking and reaching for that thing through an automatic response. And so what hypnosis does is it breaks up that response and puts you in a space of awareness. And then the third part of your healing team is whatever you want to call it, but this is the larger unseen part of you. Imagine this part being the genie and your body is the bottle. The body is the physical, the genie is the metaphysical. So this metaphysical part sees both. It sees that you're focused in on this 8. I really want to quit smoking. I want to stop this filthy habit. It's costing me way too much money, not only financially, but at my health. It's costing me my health. So as you go through and you're focused in on that 8, maybe it's even a higher number. it begins to wake up these parts in the unconscious. This third part of your healing team sees both. It sees both what you're focused in on, how much pain smoking is causing in your life, and it can see all of the parts waking up in the unconscious in perfect order and perfect sequence. So we begin to integrate these parts. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're quitting smoking or you're wanting to improve your athletic performance or you're wanting to lose weight or you're wanting to get past self-sabotage. Here's the thing with the unconscious. You can't fool it. You can't coerce it. You can't trick it. All of these parts that wake up must willingly integrate their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding into the wholeness of the healing team while allowing this larger unseen part of you doing a reprogramming of these parts as they're being integrated and releasing this part that no longer serves. And the part that no longer serves is the automatic reaction, reaching for cigarettes, looking for the cigarettes, those behaviors, those thoughts, ideas that no longer serve. This is when you become more aware of these thoughts and these patterns that come as you're going through your cleansing and your detoxing of nicotine and the other chemicals that are within cigarettes that you're smoking, either physically smoking cigarettes or vaping them. Both are highly addictive and both come to me to quit, either one of those things. And as your parts wake up, these parts that wake up tell you to grab a cigarette. Look for a cigarette the moment you start feeling stressed or uncomfortable. Look for a cigarette the moment some emotions start coming up and you don't want to deal with it anymore. Look for a cigarette when you want to eat instead. Get a cigarette. So all of those automatic responses start to wake up when you're focused in on that 8. I really got to quit. I got to quit now. It's affecting my health. So all of these parts in the unconscious start to wake up. And you become aware of these thoughts as they come in. And this is the beautiful thing. Once the larger unseen part of you is shown how to do the reprogramming work, all of the integration happens automatically. Your mind doesn't have to go, okay, I have to do this, then I have to do that. All of these integrations happen automatically. And what you notice is as you go through your day, you're not thinking about those old habits. It's almost like they're washed away. And so as you make the choice of, I really got to make this change, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's quitting smoking or losing weight or stopping the self-sabotage and procrastination, whatever that is. When you move forward and ask for help, my job is to make sure that one who is asking for help shows up for the appointment. And sometimes, and you might even find you've shown up for appointments and all of a sudden you have this attitude about you. Like, I really don't want to be here. I'd rather be doing something else. The one who made the appointment and needs this thing or has to move forward with this thing has to be the one who shows up for the appointment. This is integration, and becoming more and more aware of these parts that wake up allows you to create neural connections between these parts of you. They're natural. We have many different personalities within us. We have sadness. Sadness is there for a reason. We have grief. We have happiness. We have all of this whole array of emotions. But again, these emotions are not who you really are. They're parts that come and go. They wake up. So as we begin to integrate these parts, who is in the driver's seat right now? Thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I look forward to seeing you with the next podcast.